It's Brian Shannon from alphatrends.net. Today is Saturday, the 18th of January 2020. Please take a look at my Twitter. I will have a link for a volume weighted average price webinar that I'll be doing on Monday at noon Eastern. It's not up yet, but I will post that later. Anyways, the market had a good week, up close to 2% across the board for the main equity indices. The oil lost a little bit of ground, as did bonds, energy, and the volatility index, which is no surprise. Let's take a look at the charts here. We continue to be in what a lot of people are referring to as a melt-up mode, and I see over and over again people trying to say that it's up for stupid reasons and it doesn't make any sense and all that sort of thing, that it can't sustain itself, and it can't sustain this type of ascent. However, the reasons it's going up are completely irrelevant. Why would you care why it's going up if you're making money? Our job is to embrace the current trend and to manage risk for our time frames. The time frame that I am most comfortable with is a swing trader time frame, so I keep my stops pretty tight. If this market were to plunge, it wouldn't bother me or affect me one bit. So you have to determine what makes most sense for you and realize always only price pays. We're getting quite extended to the upside, and I had posted on Twitter a measured move objective, and what the measured move is, it takes one leg higher. So for instance, this is 284.82 up to 315.5, and then what we do is we say the next leg, the pullback leg, is right here from that peak right here to that pullback. So this is the A to B, the October to December high, and then this is point C. Point C should equal the C to D rather should equal the A to B. So this was $30.66. If you add 30.66 to this low, that gives us an upward objective of 337.79. That doesn't mean that's where the market's going to top out. It might even get there. The point is, it's a level of interest to be aware of. And until it starts to break down, give the benefit of the doubt to the buyers. Look how it's riding this rising 5-day moving average right now. As long as we're above a rising 5-day moving average, we're innocent till proven guilty. If we see a deeper pullback next week, I would say keep a close eye on the year-to-date volume-weighted average price, currently at 326 and a quarter or so. The Nasdaq, here's its year-to-date volume-weighted average price, and what we're looking at here is a 30-minute time frame, by the way. This market is also at a new all-time high, riding this rising 5-day moving average. When we look at the daily time frame, it's extended. So what? It's continuing to move higher. Raise your stops and let the market tell you when to get out. Don't try to fight this type of momentum. The measured move, interestingly here, this A to B, and this is B to C. Well, the A to B in this, and I spelled this out more clearly on Twitter if you need to see the math. We go from 181.82 up to this high, which was 206.05. That's $24.23. Well, we add that to point C to give us a measured objective of right here, basically 223.46. That doesn't mean I'm going to sell short because of this, this math, this, measured move. It gives us, it's a continuation pattern, which it gives us an approximate distance to the of what the move can be, in that the similar legs, height of these legs. So it tells us, yes, we're getting extended, we're getting stretched, we might be due for a pullback. Raise your stops, know where your risk is. We continue to ride the rising 5-day moving average, as I mentioned here. If we see a deeper pullback, the year-to-date volume-weighted average price is a likely area that it would pull back down to. That's at about 218 and a quarter. The Russell 2000 had a good week. This market is finally catching up a little bit, as that it did break out to new all-time highs. Not a surprise there, as it broke this little triangle. Members of Alpha Trends are long in here. I'm suggesting stops at the lowest point right here, even raising them up to, at least on a portion, to probably under 166. But it continues to move higher. It's been an underperformer. I find it difficult to imagine this market won't be making new all-time highs here soon. That would put this Russell 2000 up at 174-ish. So another 4 points rather, to a new all-time high. That doesn't mean that's where it's going to stop. A lot of people will start saying, hey, it's at a double top, which is absolutely foolish. That's not what a double top is. So don't listen to that. I've spoken about that a lot in the past. The semiconductors just continue to lead the way. Higher highs, higher lows on all time frames. You can't be bearish. The biotechs are, had a good week. They're starting to recover from that, that breakout. We spoke about it over here that this breakout was likely to find sellers because it was extended as it got there. And I think the same would be true, by the way, for the Russell 2000 if and when it gets up above this level. If it continues at this type of pace, that I think you would see a similar type of pullback as a shakeout. Don't wait for all-time highs to buy a breakout, not after a move like this. Anyways, we're back to higher highs and higher lows on the shorter term time frames, and this is looking like it's getting ready next week. You could call this maybe even a little cup and a handle. The financials, we saw bank earnings out this past week, and they're right at the top end of this box that they've been in. So still kind of neutral, but the primary trend is higher, so you give the benefit of the doubt to the buyers. If we're to break below the low end of this range, we probably hang on near that 50-day moving average, but it's not something to be concerned about. If you saw on Thursday, I was on Yahoo Finance talking about what stocks do you buy in this environment? Well, you buy stocks that aren't so fully extended, like Take-Two. Here's a volume-weighted average price off that peak. What does that mean? It means that the sellers were, taking profits, and as that volume-weighted average price was turning lower, there was money coming out. The average price was declining. Well, then it flattened out, and the stock broke above it. Now it's advancing, and this prior resistance was holding as support on the pullback. So I had suggested on Thursday that it was a good buy for Friday, right at these areas. And this is where Alpha Trends members are currently long. We've taken a third off just because we want to reduce risk, and that's for a swing trader's time frame. I expect this stock will likely be at new all-time highs here in the coming months. Whether or not I'm still in it is up to a swing trader's time frame. It might do something like this, or it might do something like this and then recover, shake me out, and then go to new all-time highs. I know my time frame. I'm comfortable with it. Some of the other names that we were talking about at Alpha Trends is INMD. This IPO has gotten back above the volume-weighted average price from the peak. I would say keep an eye on that one this week coming up. We're involved in ESI. We've taken 2/3 of our profits in this one, actually. We got involved right down in this area as it was breaking resistance. EXTR, we got involved in right here. AMKR, we're involved in from basically right around this general area. INO, we're looking to buy this one if it can get above this little peak right here. This is a highly speculative biotech name, by the way. It has a history of being a crazy little biotech, but the stock is starting to shape up on a chart. If you have a higher risk appetite, maybe that's one to take a look at. We're also long shares of Fuel Cell. Looking at the weekly chart, it's still got some room to run, and SGMS was one we were looking to get involved, but it didn't trigger for us, which is a good thing because it failed on Friday. SMAR, we were looking to get involved in this one too, but it gapped up on us, so we didn't take the trade. These are the types of stocks I look at every single day. We're looking for low risk, high probability trades and current entries for swing trades and managing open positions. That's, again, something I do every single day at alphatrends.net. Don't forget, take a look at twitter.com/Alpha Trends. I'll be putting up a link to this volume weighted average price seminar that I'm doing on Monday, Martin Luther King Day, in 2 days, and that's at noon Eastern.